Okay. What's up, everyone? My name is William Walford. I'm here with the Dangers tonight, and we're on Trekker's Delight in our sub show called Trek Reviews, where we specifically discuss basically shows that come out every week on Star Trek, which we love, by the way. We love, don't we just love the fact that they just
we
ordered it.
love it. We love it.
It's just great. It's just like awesome. I think the next one is either Lower Decks or Prodigy, and I think it's one of them. It's definitely one of them. I'm so excited. Like this whole renaissance, especially for Star Wars. Brief shout out to Star Wars. Yeah. Brief shout out to them because they have done a remarkable comeback. I wish we could talk about part 5 right now with that. Oh my god. But
yes,
another time, another place, maybe on a what if. So we're gonna go ahead and hit that intro, and yeah, let's get started. Oops, someone just came on in. Who's this? Hey girl, how you doing?
Hey, what's
Marie,
up?
you made it.
Hey, Marie.
Or should we say Captain Angel?
Oh! On that note, I'm hitting that intro.
What's up, Trekkies? It's your boy Will Walford here with Trekker's Delight, a Star Trek-inspired podcast. Before we get started, we're going to give away $100, so make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to our channel where we will announce the lucky winner every single week. Now, welcome to Trekker's Delight.
I won't lie to you, that intro just gets me going like every single time. Not even kidding. I freaking love it. It really gets
I have
me
a dark
going.
Mustache.
You know, until
I do. I really like the mustache. I'm not gonna lie.
I was actually
It's a good
gonna
look,
take.
Danger.
And I was actually going to take it off because until another person gets here, this just I need to somehow make that thing transparent. Oh, the graphics on this thing. Here we go. Okay,
there we go.
All right. So unless
I don't know, man. Like, I mean, you went from Geralt to like Solid Snake real fast,
oh my goodness gracious!
and suddenly everyone's like, "We know what game she plays."
Right,
Marie, how are you doing today?
Y'all, I'm vertical, and that's about all we're gonna get today.
This is my shocked face. Okay, but what an episode! What in the world? Like I was up at first. I had to get Star Wars Part 5 out the way. I had to get that out the way first because it comes out back to back now. It comes out. Obi-Wan comes out Wednesday and Strange New Worlds comes out Thursday, and they knew what they were doing, and I'm so glad they were like, hey, we respect each other, we're not going to really compete, because we're both bringing, shout out to Star Wars. So after I got done with that, it was like 2-3 in the morning, and I was like, I'm not going to sleep. I'm not going to work tomorrow. I don't care what anyone says. I'm going to be watching this episode of Star Trek. I watch it. Yo,
I mean, funny thing, I'm not going to work tomorrow either.
I heard a great phrase tonight by Jess Bush, and I think it applies to this episode. It was a hot snack.
Oh God!
I mean,
I love the Australians and their slang.
Yeah,
they definitely needed to do something to come back from last week's episode.
You think you didn't like last week's?
I'm
still so mad. I am still so mad.
Oh,
because because last week was let's all watch Pike get led around by his penis, and this week it's all like it's he's getting led around by something, but now he's getting led around by his fragile balls, and that's how he ends up on the wrong ship.
Cut him some slack. Cut him some slack.
I think he was being a Boy Scout. He was rushing to the aid of
these. Boy Scout.
Yeah,
he was
definitely
right.
The dude cooked. The dude cooked.
No, I love that. I love that.
I like how they throw him.
By the way,
throw him cooking in all the time. It's like cooking.
Well, remember, if you remember in the original series episode, The Menagerie, there was a scene I think where he was cooking, right?
They had a.
I know there was a basket. I know there was a
that
picnic.
was it. Well, but didn't he fix the picnic?
No.
All I know is that like Jeffrey Hunter had a basket of stuff, and he had like
he just showed up,
and they were riding through this beautiful green vista, and then he informs us that it's the Mojave, and I'm like, come again?
Well, in my mind, he fixed that picnic. He prepared the picnic.
I mean, I am not going to try to dissuade you. Like,
I'm not gonna lie to you. This is the first episode where I can honestly say I finally found. I won't say fallen in love or fallen for, but found the hots for Anson Mount. It took a minute. No, because
no. I'm sorry. Is this why I get a text message that you could that Anson can mount you?
Anytime. Anytime. Like any freaking time. Like, okay,
ladies and gentlemen, I gotta tell you, like the texts are the text chats are just they're not for children.
They're not for children. We in our last episode of LGBT Trek, I had to purposely take out a whole section because A, we went an hour over already, and then B, what would you rate?
No, we're not. That is going into, like, if we ever get a Patreon, that is going into the reels that we are giving Patreon.
Oh yeah.
Have you guys heard about the new series that Anson Mount's been pitching to Paramount?
Oh boy, here it comes.
Is it a Star Trek one?
Yeah.
What is it?
His hair's a little bit higher in the front, and it's called Pike's Peak.
Oh please, so old.
I see you, Marco. I see you.
Here he is. Hold on. Who is this? Be sure to tip your waitress. I don't know why it says Facebook user, but we know that that's Marco. So that's definitely. I don't have to read the. We just know it's Marco.
Yeah, it's Marco. For sure.
Definitely. Okay, so.
But yeah, no. Do we want to talk, like, before we get too far into it? Do we want to at least do like a plot rundown?
That's what I was gonna say. Like, who wants to do the summary today? I have all the pictures ready. Who wants to narrate?
Marie, go. You're pointing to your nose. You're it.
Do you not know how this game works? Do you not?
No.
Yes, that's why he said go.
Yeah, that's why I said go. That means
all right. I will get strong armed. I will get strong armed by the mean gentleman on the bridge. So today we I don't exactly remember how Aspen gets on the ship, but like Aspen is on the ship, and they are warping to the edge of Federation space. This is not the right photo. What are you doing?
I'm sorry. I'm looking.
Slow your roll. Slow your roll.
I'm looking for crazy. I'm looking for crazy.
So they're warping to the edge of Federation space. I mean, y'all, like, we are in the ass end of nowhere is where this is, because Dr. Aspen that you see here, is working with refugee colonists. That's the word, y'all. It's been a real long week, and it's only Thursday. Whew.
Friday Eve.
Ooh.
And wouldn't you think they'd have an accurate picture of her in the ship's database?
You would think,
Dr. Aspen.
Oh, dude, like let me get just. We're gonna get there because
okay.
They actually say my literal favorite line in the episode. So anyway. So we work to the ass end of space. I mean, we are like 2 days in terms of subspace relays, as far as being able to contact Starfleet. And we find, rather than colonists and colony ships, we find debris. Oh no, it looks like the pirates aboard the Serene Squall have blown shit up. And so Pike is looking around going, well, what do we think they did with the colonists? And
I love this guy.
And then I love that guy too. Remy is like the best.
He's like a Scotsman.
I know, right? Right?
He's basically a scoutmaster, and Anson Mount is the Boy Scout.
Okay,
Okay.
that's weird.
My Scoutmaster
So
looked just
anyway-
like this.
So anyway, our friends like Lon looks over at everybody and goes, well, you know, outside the Federation, slavery is shockingly common. And so all of a sudden, Anson is just like, well, shit, we're gonna have to go in, y'all. And they fly into an asteroid field. There is a brief moment where we have like a semi-Tholian web kind of a trap, but it actually works, which I thought was pretty cool. And it didn't take an entire episode. Not that I'm bitter.
They learned a lesson from Enterprise.
Not that I'm bitter.
They learned their lesson from Enterprise.
You're right. All right, come here. Why? I don't know. My focus is being weird, and I don't know why.
Okay.
Thank you. So anyway, they get out of that, and then they discover that there's a distress signal, and so Pike is like, "Well, I'm gonna head up the away team," and so they beam over, and they get captured. And when they're doing their thing, more pirates board the Enterprise and basically try to take the bridge, and Spock and Dr. Aspen are the only ones who manage to get off the bridge, and then they take the turbo lift somewhere because that's the thing they do. And meanwhile, Nurse Chapel has like been a badass because she's literally like hypoing pirates left, right, and center. Go her. I loved it. She's like, I'm just a nurse. Night, night, bitch. Like, I loved it.
It was awesome.
I'm just glad that she can fight. That means a lot to me. It means
Again, you can have Anson. I want Chapel.
Deal.
Done.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
Just so y'all know, we've now divvied them up. It's all good. So Spock, Aspen, and Chapel run to engineering. Spock lifts the lockout that number one put on the command functions of the ship, and like all of a sudden all the command functions are available and get routed back to the bridge. Spock turns around and there stands Dr. Aspen, a phaser in both of their hands, and they're like, yeah, no, by the way, my name is Angel and you're my hostage. So we go back up to the bridge, and this is where Captain Angel is all like, so I don't actually want the Enterprise. I just want Spock, because Spock is definitely going to be a hostage and bait, because I need basically Spock's girlfriend to release my husband, lover, I'm not sure, pick your term, from Vulcan jail. And Spock is like, who's your person there? And they go, Zavarius, which I'm never going to let anybody down for that, like live that one down, because that's a terrible name. I'm just going to go on record.
It's like Severin.
That's like the Vulcan version of Xavier.
I mean, yeah, it's bad. It's bad, y'all. It's bad.
It is bad.
Anywho, so like somehow mysteriously, I guess Vulcan shit still works better because they have no problem getting in contact like this with this. Let me find the camera.
With the Vulcans.
T'Pring. Mm-hmm. And it takes T'Pring approximately 5 seconds to get there. So apparently Vulcan jail is also on the ass end of space. I don't know. So there's the showdown. Angel's like, give me Zavarius or I'm going to kill your boy. And Spock looks up at T'Pring and says, I am going to have to release you from our bond. And Chapel's like, oh, God, runs around and goes, we're having an affair, T'Pring. We're in love. It's great. And Angel is just like, yeah, no, this is bullshit. And then Spock leans over and gives Chapel the kind of kiss of which we all dream. And if you say you're not, you're lying or asexual. Just saying. Got love out to the ace community right here.
And she really kisses back too.
I mean,
and they both meant it too.
No. I was getting the vapors when they did that. So anyway, T'Pring's like, well, I guess we've got to get divorced. And Spock's like, well, I guess we've got to get divorced. It was very Vulcan. And then Angel's like, I'm gonna kill all y'all. And just as everything shuts down on the Enterprise and the pirates and Angel are all like, what is going on? Turns out Pike, who can cook better than that dude, which, not a tall order.
Wouldn't
guys.
be hard, probably.
Not a tall order.
He cooks gruel.
It's a low bar.
That is the guy that cooked the slop on the Matrix.
Yeah.
He cooks like
my nightmares. Thank you. My nightmares. Thank you. So anyway, they have started up a mutiny amongst the remaining pirates, and they have taken over the ship, and they're in the process of like subduing the whole thing. Angel is just like, well, Zavarius always spoke well of you, Spock, and then beams aboard to their ship, and they warp to wherever. Very end of the episode, we see T'Pring basically coming up and, beaming over to the Enterprise for a booty call after she informs Spock that I never believed you in a million years. And Spock's like, oh, that's great. That's awesome. Spock goes and checks in with Chapel to make sure that, she's not upset with him. And she goes, yeah, no, I'm not upset with you at all. And he's like, that's great. I totally believe you. Y'all, Spock needs to be beaten upside the head with a clue bat a little bit. Clue bat, preferably with spikes. I'm just saying. And, then we warp to, we head on over back to Vulcan jail, and it turns out that, one of the more infamous characters in all of Star Trek is chilling as a member of the Vatosh Couture. And that guy, ladies and gentlemen, would be Sybok. Yes, it's Star Trek 5 come to haunt us forever.
Hey, at least they made it canon with this episode.
Right.
Because let's be honest, we could have done without Star Trek 5 and it act like it never existed. But now that we have this episode, now we have our two-step verification process. Star Trek 5 is now part of canon.
My two-step verification, Jesus. Like the next thing, it's going to be a token. My dude. Like, I am also a Star Wars fan. I have so much practice ignoring all of the things I don't like. Like, I can still say goodbye to Star Trek 5 and I can just focus on Zavarius. And that, y'all, can we talk about that beard for a second? Because we don't see his face. We just see him from behind, and that beard is everywhere.
Same hair, same beard, and almost the same clothing. Because he was like wearing an all white type look with a belt around him or something like that. Not maybe a robe in some scenes.
I felt more like this was
almost like a Jedi.
Yeah, like a Jedi.
I gotta tell you, I felt more like this outfit was more Indian inspired, like Indian subcontinent, as opposed to like monk inspired, like the last one.
What about like a dashiki?
Sure.
Okay, that's what Middle Eastern.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. But I think some of the I've seen a lot of really Indian influences in the design of the Vulcan costumes. Yeah. I'm here for it. I think they're gorgeous. I've been really in love, actually, with all of the costumes that we've seen in Strange New Worlds. Also, can we talk about Aspen's / Angel's costumes? Those were fantastic.
Yeah, I love the mesh, the space mesh.
Space mesh. I'm like, awesome. Gone are the days when we have to wear upholstery. Sorry, Ferengi, you're gonna get clothes now. Right. Tell you, it's been a long week, guys. Like, I am apparently out of control again.
I mean, it happens. Okay, so I'll be honest.
One last note.
Hey, Michael.
We also had the perfect casting for yet another familiar face. Stawny McStanston.
Huh?
Who?
Ston makes an appearance.
Yeah, that's why I said Ston.
Oh, yes, right.
I know, I'm like, that's the guy she leaves him for.
The one that T'Pring left Spock for.
Yeah.
Ston.
Yeah.
Oh,
and I gotta tell you,
that's the one. Oh.
Yeah, that's the guy from Amok Time. And I gotta tell you, that was perfect casting, because not only does he have similar facial features, he has similar sort of like, can I talk to your manager vibes.
What is that? What is that, like his son or something?
Ston.
No, that's gonna be her husband.
I know that.
Yeah.
No. I'm talking about the actor that they casted. Like,
I don't know.
They just casted someone that looked like him. Got it.
I have 4-year-old twins, William. You think I have time for research? That's precious.
I mean, you are pretty good at it.
It would take no time at all.
No time at all.
Y'all are also sitting in front of computers. Like, I don't see any reason y'all can't get to this.
That's a good point. Michael, how are you doing
didn't
today?
Catch the whole stall reference until just now, so he couldn't have had time to research it.
I pointed it out to you as we watched it.
I know, but they never listen, Linda.
I'm like,
I know. You pointed it out to me, right? But nobody pointed it out to William until just now, so he couldn't have researched it.
And I gotta tell you, that's not on
Thank
me.
you.
That is not on me, because I made
William
that boy
is
watch
off the
Amok
hook.
Time. He is not. He is not, because I made that boy watch Amok Time.
Oh.
Yeah, but he must have missed the reference.
Well, I will say that I literally just finished watching at 9:41 my time, which is about 8 minutes ago. And so I hadn't had time.
Looks like you're ahead
So
of
what'd
time.
you think about Cybok at the end?
I thought that was a very cool tie-in.
Yeah.
I was really excited to see it, and I can't wait to see how they kind of build on that.
Right.
I doubt it happens this season.
Right.
So probably looking towards season 2, season 3.
Yeah.
That's going to be exciting.
Do you think
love
we'll
a good
see more
backstory.
of Captain Angel? I'm pretty sure we will.
Oh yeah, they're gonna come back.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll be
They're
this season.
So
And I'm defaulting to they them pronouns for Angel because that's what they use for Aspen, and I'm just going.
I actually had a question about that, Marie. So since we knew that Angel was a fraud, were they lying about they them pronouns too on top of the identity that they assumed, or was?
Well,
or
I mean,
does
that means we
stay?
know that Aspen is a parent. Well, I don't know. We don't know anything about Aspen because, as Angel points out, none of y'all did the basic Google search. Once again, the Federation has no Google.
Actually, I'm actually kind of surprised, Danger, you didn't jump on that one because
Google is a corporation. It goes away in this time.
well, no, because it's like
You want to
basic
tell me
security.
those people don't have search engines?
Right. Basic
Right,
security.
that's what I'm saying. Basic security measures. Now, obviously,
Yes.
this is not Discovery. We're not 1,000 years in the future, but basic
Right.
security measures is still a thing.
Right.
Like trust but verify.
Have they learned nothing from the 21st century?
No.
Yeah. And here's the thing. I think Aspen / Angel played Spock because otherwise Spock would have been the researcher on the ship to verify and double check everything.
Right.
Also, I think they were just interested in torturing Zavarius's younger brother.
I mean,
Also, did we really need the detail that Cybok was born out of wedlock? Like, was that necessary?
I didn't care. I mean, at least that we learned something more about the man.
It might have explained some of his motivation or some of his betrayal of Vulcan culture if he's,
right.
Born out of
He has
wedlock,
stigma.
not accepted kind of a thing.
I mean, it's character development.
I mean, I gotta tell you, like that doesn't jive with Vulcan.
Well, he's not Vulcan. Well, he is Vulcan, but he's
He
not.
is Vulcan. He is in fact more Vulcan than Spocky Vulcan.
That's art that's around.
Well, he's 100% Vulcan, but he's still illegitimate.
He's also 100% asshole. So like,
he's a Vulcan with emotions, which they all have emotions. The point is, he doesn't act like what the norm would be for a Vulcan. Therefore, they probably ostracized him as a Vulcan. They're probably stripped. They probably treat him worse than a human.
Well, they
you
talked
think
about
I
a
am
lot about
fully-
social structure in this, and like the idea of like social hierarchy within Vulcan culture. So
Right.
the fact that they added the wedlock thing really makes for his disdain for Vulcan culture, and really provides a lot of justice and background to his behavior in
Yeah,
his
I
overall
agree.
rejection. Because if he was born out of wedlock, and
Yes.
we're shaming someone for essentially getting divorced, or just about anything in Vulcan culture at this time period, like a child born out of wedlock would be shunned.
Right.
And to make a Discovery tie-in here,
you mean very logically shunned?
yes. But to make a Discovery tie-in, remember, Sarek was forced to choose between Spock and Michael. And because he was seen, because of that social pressure, because of that social structure and social hierarchy that exists, it was like, this isn't allowed, this isn't a thing.
Yeah, but that was 100% for racist ass bullshit.
Exactly, but
Or I'm sorry,
time period. This is only
pick something.
Yeah, but this is only like what 10 years difference from that time period.
Yeah.
So Cybok is the older brother, right?
Cybok's the older brother.
So that's why we never saw them when we saw Spock and Michael grow up together.
Well, he was out of wedlock. He wasn't allowed in that house.
Right.
So he wasn't even
holding
there.
on with humans walking around.
He's out of the
So-
picture.
So basically, he wasn't even there
was
for growing up.
ostracized.
Period.
Yeah.
No wonder he
Actually,
turned
we
out
don't
to
know
be.
that. Like, all of this right now is conjecture. All of
Yes.
this is conjecture.
Well, we
don't
never
know.
saw him in the house.
Well, okay. Let me ask you this. Do we know of any other Vulcan that has been exiled or ostracized or sent away from their families?
I mean, they became Romulans.
And Romulans do have emotions, so I mean,
Well, I mean, but theoretically, the Romulans could have just decided to leave as well.
I think they did. It was centuries ago.
Except
but
we know exactly why they left. They left because the whole Sarek thing happened, or Surak thing happened, and they were like, "F this noise. We're gonna peace out. Bye, y'all."
And you got to remember, there's another sect of Vulcans. They're more primitive, but you remember it was the Prime Directive episode that Picard had to go down and explain.
No. They're not related. They're just that's convergent evolution.
Oh, okay. So that's just coincidence. That's not really a.
Yep, they're referred to as Vulcanoid in Who Watches the Watchers.
Okay, that's what it's called. Who Watches the Okay. I mean, now
Total
I've seen
Vulcan.
several episodes of Vulcan threatening to exile, to Paul or whoever over some BS,
Yeah.
But maybe Sybok is the story where they actually follow through on that, and we get to see what happens to a Vulcan when you get kicked out.
I mean, yes, Sybok lives for now, Marco, but not for long.
I mean, he fights God and dies in the process. He has the power of God and anime on his side. Yeah.
Yeah, that's an amazing. I do.
Here's
love
a
that.
question for you. Do you think that the evolution of the Romulans is what prompted the Vulcans to create that rehabilitation prison?
No,
No.
not at all. Because there's
No?
too much distance time wise between that. I also think that there happens to be a fair amount. I mean, because it was actually Surak. Y'all, Surak, like he's the one who pissed off the Romulans, or the would-be Romulans.
And in the TOS era, we haven't seen the Romulans make an appearance yet.
I mean, Balance of Terror.
I mean, that's later on. I mean,
but anyway, no, I don't think that's what that is. What actually was going on is, if you'll recall in Discovery, Michael talks a lot about, like a Vulcan for Vulcans movement. And apparently there had been a fair amount of other types of
all right, Marco.
amongst the ranks. I don't know, man. If Marco wants to keep heckling, I am here for it, buddy.
Look, if you want, I think there was another TOS episode where two beings were fighting for all of eternity, and Kirk felt bad for them. I forgot which one it was, but maybe that's what it is with Sybok. He just fights God forever at the center of the galaxy.
No, Sybok lives with somebody else. I'm confused. It's all Facebook user. Y'all are messing me up.
Who is that? You know what? Let me look on my phone. Who is this? I'm
So
nosy now. Who are you? Hold up.
Also, I mean,
does
can
live.
we just we're on the bottom half of this episode anyway, so let's talk about the serious shit. Can we talk a little bit about what this episode is speaking to?
Okay.
I mean, I can think of many things because I had many questions for you about that topic.
So literally, I think a lot of I love the name the Serene Squall, because you don't think of squalls as being terribly serene, and I think it's really a metaphor for what's going on inside of Spock, particularly because he's still in the process of trying to resolve these two two competing cultures, and he's not sure where he doesn't really fit in either, but he's part of both.
Hey, Jason.
And so what? And so what's actually going on in this episode is that Angel looks at him at one point and says, and I love this speech, y'all. Like, they got the best lines in this episode that weren't hilarious because, like, again, Ortegas and her date phenomenon is just hilarious, and I love her. She is like, okay, so she is a step down below Chapel at this point.
I'm telling you, Ortegas is going to be the one that gets the axe at the end of the season. I'm sorry.
I'm not ready for that.
I'm sorry.
I'm not ready for that.
He's going to be the one.
Get axed.
Huh?
Because
William
doesn't believe in happiness.
No. Okay, because they spelled it out for us. Who had the most, I won't say well thought out, because a lot of them were well thought out, but who had the most memorable, beautiful introduction to her character? Ortegas. Like a badass pilot that we don't get to see again at all in the future, 10 years from now. So we ain't gonna see her again. She's gonna die. I'm sorry.
Or get promoted to another ship.
Maybe she leaves the Federation for another job.
Yeah,
I mean,
when I saw her,
she's got options.
When I saw her bring in Uhura to that dinner party the way she did, I knew right then and there it was going to be Ortega's.
Oh wow!
Well, you think?
So
what makes you think somebody?
Going back to this,
what makes you think a major crew member is going to pass on by the end of the season?
Because we're back to the regular Trek era ways. Where
she is a red shirt,
and she's a red shirt for one,
but we never lost a major member of the crew in the original series.
Well, yes and no.
No, but we did in TNG.
I mean, they more so
in TNG. We lost Tasha, right? But
we lost Tasha in Voyager. We lost Kes. In
Deep Space Nine, we lost.
Yeah, Kes didn't die.
I was about to say, technically, we didn't lose Kes.
Right.
Yeah, she just,
she goes off the deep end real hard.
Apparently, I don't even know why they even made that episode, to be honest. Like, they didn't have to make her
because I think Jennifer Leanne had legal bills to pay. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, and now she's in jail for real. So whatever. But anyway.
I do want to go back. I do want to go back and talk about what I was getting to, which was that wonderful speech where Angel says, the question is not, it's a false question whether or not you are. What are you? Like, if you're Vulcan or human, the question is, who are you? And I love the fact that we're getting this from a non-binary character, a trans character, who is sitting in the captain's chair, because they literally are living this third path that Spock is going to have to forge for himself. He's got to figure out, is it Vulcan? Is it human? Does it matter? Or is it just Spock at this time?
They're definitely not wrong. There's so many dynamics to this. I love that we got to see them play both good cop and bad cop. But stays firm on what they say to Spock, which I appreciate, by the way, because it's like during that council. Okay. At the end of the day, we know that they were there just to read Spock, because you got to distract them, home in on his emotions to take over the ship. I understand that, but they had some good things to say that had merit, because he is struggling and constantly struggling, at least until he gets older, with his Vulcan side and human side, and he hasn't reached that version of Incredible Hulk where he just learns to coexist with both.
Well, he hasn't reached his Star Trek V iteration,
right? And he hasn't gone to the Kolinar yet, which is something that I brought up in, I think, was it episode 1 or 2?
I will point out he never does.
Yes, but I pointed out, I was like, he needs to just get to the Kolinar and be done.
I thought he gets to the Kolinar in motion picture.
Right, he did. He just didn't accept the graduation because he.
Okay,
they're literally about to perform the final ceremony, and he's just like, "Peace, y'all," and just fucks off, like, right. Because he's Spock and he can just do that.
At that point, that's when
and that's when we get and then he shows up and we get those amazing gray jumpsuit things that are just that was a choice.
Yeah.
I like the comment from the Facebook user about the episode being about, I think, a message as to, it's not important whether you are considered to be a man or a woman. It's about how you feel, and that was kind of the message behind Spock. It's not if you're human or you're Vulcan. It's your Spock. It's what are you? What do you feel?
Who are you?
Yeah,
it's who are you?
Exactly.
Yeah, like and that can be anything. That can be this third path. That can be an amalgamation of the two.
Right.
And I think what makes it better is that they didn't put a name to it, because by that century there is we're talking philosophy at this point. But
also, just a brief note: anybody who's talking about how Strange New Worlds isn't political can bite me.
Well, they threw that out the window, episode 1.
Right. But it's interesting because so much of a certain segment of the fandom is just like, oh, it's not political.
Yeah. So was TOS.
Right.
That is, yeah.
That is a good question. Where was Uhura this episode?
We did not see Uhura in one scene, and I, in all honesty, not in a bad way, but I was okay with this. Like, they have been developing her character so thoroughly.
She has had a lot of airtime, and after a week or 2 weeks in security with Ortegas, Lon, she probably needed some time off.
Especially after that engineering
Addendum
scene.
to Rule 10: vacation required.
Right.
And so I was definitely okay. And I think it also, to Marie's point, it gave us the opportunity for Ortega to get those good lines in, and for us to see a little bit more of her. And also,
like she's fantastic.
And also we got to see. This was just a glimpse. I imagine that this probably wasn't written when Pike was in the captain's chair. And he starts the pirate voice.
Yeah.
Okay, that has to be off script. That has to be off script.
I really believe that was like completely off script, and he was like trying to be funny. But
Una's like, please stop.
And that was actually her saying that for real. Like, please stop.
Yeah.
Like, she's about to laugh, and she doesn't laugh.
Again, Una is also like legit. I also love the whole, what was it, Alpha Braga 4?
Yeah, but
Right?
I love that. Staging and mutiny.
Yes.
That's right.
To me, it really just felt like we got to see even a little bit more of Una, and like still taking her back from the pilot episodes and humanizing her even more.
Mhm.
I really think we're getting that with a lot of these female characters, right? Like Una's getting it. Chapel is no longer just Majel Barrett in a miniskirt.
Oh yeah, Chapel is bae. Like,
and T'Pring, right? Like T'Pring, we're really getting a fleshed out 3-dimensional T'Pring. Because y'all, I gotta say, like when she, I mean that cringeworthy moment where she starts talking about doing research into human sexuality, is a cringe moment until you understand why she's doing it, and then you break it down and you listen to what she actually says and the texts that she's picking up. By the way, all of those exist, incidentally. My favorite is actually Argonauts, because that's actually the story of a person who is partnered to a female to male trans person and what that's like. And so literally what T'Pring was doing is she says, look, I have found a text that's a female perspective. I have found a text that's a male perspective, and I found a queer perspective that's neither. And that's something that happens at the very beginning of this episode, leading into everything with Dr. Aspen's.
You know what? This is definitely not saying that it is a new concept, but for those who think that it might be a new concept, it's actually not. Because the last time I heard something like this was 7 of 9. Like, because she was neither human or Borg. So it's kind of, they said it without saying it, but I don't think they knew what they were saying at the time. But it had a similar message, if that makes any sense, with 7.
Yeah. Completely.
Right.
I mean, this is.
But I feel like when she was when 7 was in Unimatrix 0, they had, without hitting it on the nose, they had this debate between like human versus Borg and how she comes to be a person, and like a complete person that is comfortable in herself. And so I feel like they, to your point, they did that. But again, they didn't necessarily say it, but they really fleshed it out during those 2 Unimatrix 0 episodes, her finding love and
And then they brought it home with the season finale of Picard, where she, I guess, finally accepts herself.
Right.
Because 7 is struggling with this too. Like she once again, she has these visual markers that make her an XB. I think I just heard thunder.
Thunder?
Where are you?
Yeah, clearly not at home because, like, it doesn't rain in the desert.
Y'all have thunder over there.
Well, I mean, the state's on fire, so it would be super great if they could, like,
rain. Yeah. I just want to say, I'm going to go back and I'm going to screenshot that face because it was very priceless. Like, it was absolutely amazing.
It's like,
and then I'm going to put that on the t-shirt and call that your shocked face.
So I do want to go back 1 second. I was having a quick moment about Una, and I don't know who said it, who was the Facebook user who said that we haven't seen her as a strong first officer. I have to disagree.
Ghosts of Illyria?
Huh?
Ghosts of Illyria?
Yeah, like, but also we saw her be a strong first officer in Discovery. And
was
even
Jason.
Defending the bridge today, I mean, it wasn't a primary focus, but the way she called people to battle stations, whipped around that gun or that phaser and was like, let's get it, guys.
Yeah.
She wasn't some passe, walk on the bridge and throw your hands up. She was weak here to fight. And then when she realized Spock was free, going back to the excellent thanks.
Yeah,
Marie.
that right there. That right there.
But going back to this excellent image, like she's still in command. She is, even without being able to communicate, she is giving Spock everything and ordering Spock. I believe we see a strong first officer in Una all throughout this episode. Again, it's not the primary focus, but it's there.
What's great about it, though, is that
I think the beauty of this show is that
she's an actual XO. She's not, because one of the things that like Spock and Riker did and also Nerys did, is they ended up taking a little bit more than they should have. Una is pretty much she's doing her job and she's working within her parameters. She's excelling for sure, but she's also not taking the wind out of Pike's sails either.
Yeah, I think what I've seen is all of the women in this series are presenting themselves as great role models to young women. I think it's good. They're all every woman that's in this show, from Uhura to Ortegas to Una to Chapel, are all Leon. They're all very strong female characters, and none of them are like helpless damsel in distress types. And I think it's great. I think it's about time we see more of that. So.
Yeah, that's been fantastic. And I kind of want to go. I also kind of want to go back a little bit to that man. That man needs to be beaten upside the head with a clue bat.
Why? Why? Look, okay. Obviously, okay. Let's talk about this. Let's
disclaimer:
talk about
we do not condone violence here, and we not.
I don't need you to dad me. I said what I said.
Not dad. Okay, let's see. I said what I said, and so what you want me to do? But no, for real. Okay.
No, but before I get to why Spock needs a clue bat, I really, really want to talk about how fantastic this love triangle is and how well done it is. There's no infighting. There's none of this. We're pitting women against each other. Like, it's literally like Chapel knows what's up.
Chapel is respectful. She's respectful.
Chapel is respectful. T'Pring, and T'Pring is bringing all of her A game, like as far as it goes. Like she's literally trying, just like when Spock asked her to in Spock Amok. She's trying to meet him where he is. She's trying to learn how to interact with his human side. And for me, that's just going to make going back and rewatching Amok Time so much harder, because they've given this story this incredible subtext of just two people who love each other and are trying to make it work, and it's just not going to happen.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting that, Spock has these two strong female characters that he's torn between, because you can see it in his performance. And it's like, what's that?
I said torn my ass. Also, I hear something. Someone's beating on something.
No, I can see that he's got it. I see his human side is definitely attracted to Chapel.
Yes.
His Vulcan side obviously wants T'Pring, and I think this is creating this internal turmoil in him, and I can see that in his interaction with both T'Pring and Chapel.
But I think my point here is that this is where the clue bat comes in, ladies and gentlemen. I was gonna get there. He's not putting the pieces of the puzzle together, and that's really frustrating to watch.
What do you mean?
I mean, he's in his 20s at this point. He's stupid. Like,
I mean, that's fair. Also,
like that's why this Spock is nowhere near the same as the one we saw in TOS, a motion picture. At this point,
but you can also tell. I mean, it's really interesting because the way Peck is playing it is I think there's a little bit of Ethan Peck bleeding through, because and I'm not saying this is a bad thing by any stretch of the imagination, because I think he's been a really solid Spock. Because I think he's giving Spock a little bit more awkwardness, because I think he's trying to imply that Spock is kind of like figuring out what's going on with Chapel. But I mean, it's fascinating to me. There's this repetition, right? He says to both these women, "You know me so well," but he never asks himself, "Do I know them?" Because that doesn't even like register for him.
Like I said, he's in his 20s.
Like he tried, and that's also like with Spock and Muck when he tries to do this ritual where he will know T'Pring's mind inside and out, and it's really just this way to make her like, one, he wants to know if she's going to get over his human side, because I mean she's been snippy about humans. Let's be real.
Yeah, she has a very strong bias.
Can we also talk about how weird it is to watch a relationship we know is going to fail? But that can be a whole episode.
That is literally spelling out our entire community. Happy Pride Month.
Right. but also like I think so. One of my frustrations with Kenobi, and I mentioned this last episode, has been like, I know where this is going. I know where this is going. You're not really taking me anyplace new. And
until they reveal who that girl was.
Well, I haven't gotten there. I am 3 episodes in.
3? Oh, girl, you ain't touched shit yet.
Like, we haven't watched any of it yet.
What? I'm sorry.
This is a Star Trek podcast.
No, this is
I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Oh my God.
My point here is the same is true. The same could have been true of Strange New Worlds. In fact, Strange New Worlds actually opens with a premise that we know what's going to happen to Pike.
I still voice my opinion that it's going to be a different ending than what we're going to get. Sorry.
Fair enough. Okay. I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work out. That's fine. But my point here is that we know where the story ends, but like there's so much, they're actually taking this to new places and showing us new things about these characters that we never had the opportunity to do. Even with T'Pring shows up in, I think she maybe has 10 minutes of screen time, y'all.
Right.
And like 9 of those are her being an asshole.
Right. Right.
She's okay. Physically, she's trying, but mentally and emotionally, she ain't there.
I mean, at the end of the episode,
I disagree. I think she is doing it, and I think she is doing it. And kudos to the actress on this. Kudos to her, because she has figured out this great way of addressing this problem in the world's most Vulcan way.
How to be racist without being racist?
Yeah, because that's literally their entire culture. You were there for Enterprise.
Yeah. Oh, in Enterprise, they didn't give a damn. They didn't give. They flat out. They said it to their faces. Like
right.
So here's to that nonsense. But
I think at the end of a mock time in the original series, when Spock, when the whole battle's over, and Spock says to T'Pring something to the effect of, having a thing is not nearly.
He says that to Stan, actually. Like he doesn't even look at it. He doesn't
as wanting a thing. Oh yeah.
Yeah. The only thing he says to T'Pring is that was very logical, and then he turns around and to Stan, that's when he says,
"Oh right.
You may find that having a thing is not so good as wanting. It is not logical, but nevertheless, it's true."
Yeah, and at that point, you're thinking, well, good, because T'Pring deserves what she's going to end up with in this case. But now, in light of everything we're learning now, you feel sorry for her, because she wants to have a relationship with somebody, and Spock is, because of his career, is never going to be there. He's going to be out in space, and you feel like, well, she deserves to have a life as well, and so.
And I gotta tell you,
I can understand her motivation at this point in a mock time.
For me, that rings true very, very strongly, because my background is as a military spouse, right? Mm-hmm. Robert can go wherever, get called wherever. In fact, he disappeared this week because he got called at the last minute, and like our entire lives together have been like moving because of where he went and what he did and that kind of thing, and so. It's that kind of alienation, that kind of frustration makes sense. Like, this is one of the reasons that I love Keiko O'Brien so much on Deep Space Nine, is because she's really, really struggling with the loss of her identity, the loss of her professional identity. And that's, I got to tell y'all, like, I mean,
that's tough.
Been there. been there. Like I when we first moved to this duty station, I started a rewatch of Deep Space Nine, and I got to like one of the first like real Keiko moments, and I was just I had to stop, like turn off the television and like walk away for a moment, because it was like, that's my life.
Yeah. I mean Keiko was running out of projects, and eventually poof. Like, I mean
she packed up her career and moved with Miles, because Miles had gotten this position at Deep Space Nine, and if they were going to stay married, like,
and then ended up getting a full-fledged career of her own,
right? And then but it also took her
a full-fledged career of her own.
But it took her a long time. I mean, when we moved to this duty station, I had to give up a master's program that I really loved at George Washington University, because Robert had gotten.
That's where I'm going to school now.
I mean, I tell you, they make you pay for that definite article in front of the name. Let's be real. But like, I mean, I had to give that up because they would not let me complete it online. There was no way, and I wasn't. I mean, by that point, like, it wasn't really feasible for me to stay in DC while Robert's in, wherever he is.
Nowhereville. And but that too goes to one of the things that I think people miss about Star Trek overall. Star Trek really, across all of the series, across every series, across every episode, really pulls on the fabric of who we are and the situations and experiences that we have and deal with. And it takes it and it puts it, of course, in this weird way where you're standing by a transporter or looking at green women dance.
I had to do that. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Overall, it is who
we
are.
No, I'm putting a ban on the kid.
That was a very tough episode.
Yeah,
please go on.
But I do want to shift gears, and I just have a quick question. So I heard you all say that Angel is going to go, like, she's coming back, or they're coming back at another time period. Yeah. Does anyone else feel that we need to start a petition about Orions and mullets being in every Star Trek series?
Okay,
I want Remy back. I want Remy for literally every freaking Orion episode, because we need
he's going to be in a Federation prison.
We need a bear Orion, guys, because there's no way in hell that guy's not a bear. I'm just saying.
He's going to be in a Federation prison for a while.
Like, we need some short treks about this guy.
Exactly.
I mean,
I want to do a short trek about his hair. I love it.
Did anybody else mildly die with the whole reference to, like, I'm the last person to damage a perfect jawline? I felt like that was a Princess Bride moment.
It was.
Yes. There's a shortage of perfect breasts in the world. It would be a shame to damage yours. And I'm just destroying that accent, but like, whatever. You don't want to know how much bourbon was in this glass.
I feel like this episode also, they were like, the fourth wall kind of doesn't exist.
I mean, when you're kind of like nodding your head and referencing, past things, it's just like, you're like, we give them a pass. Like,
right.
Like
no, but they gave us Remy, man. Like, I am giving them a pass for Remy because he is like legit.
Okay.
Like, well, I need more. Like I said, I need more Scottish Bear Orions in my life.
He's the closest thing to Scotty that we got right now.
I want to know if we're going to get more Rainn Wilson.
Yes. I don't need that in my life.
I do. I need more Harry Mudd.
Oh my God.
I need more Harry Mudd.
I love
that man.
Yeah.
No, I mean, he made Harry Mudd creepy, and I was just like,
I love him.
He was creepy Harry Mudd anyway.
Harry Mudd's a pirate.
Yes.
Yeah, he's a pirate and a creep.
He's the ultimate pirate.
When we have some more breakout Boy Scout moments, maybe we can get some more pirates.
Yes.
Yeah, and can we possibly have pirates that don't look like they were extras on a Mad Max movie?
Oh, that was perfect.
I mean, I'm literally looking around. I'm like, this one lady is wearing teeth. Like, what?
So you want like posh pirates?
Posh pirates,
right?
Like, he gets.
We don't want the Coachella look.
We
don't want the Coachella look, do we?
I I mean, I'm just gonna point out to you that the people who run Coachella are pirates. So
you want like you want everyone to look like the Collector.
I'm gonna have to think about that for a second.
He was very. I mean, he would meet the definition of a pirate.
I mean, but also, like, I really want to have a conversation about his makeup habits, and I just kind of want to sit down and be like, what do I do? But yeah, I mean, but would I love to see Benicio del Toro show up in Star Trek? Like, yes, that would be amazing.
That'd be funny.
Like, can that man show up as a Ferengi? Because that would be fucking amazing.
Ferengi.
So I know we're starting to run short on time. Quick question: can we talk a little bit about the future? What we have 3 episodes left?
Yep.
What species or race would you like to see kind of emerge in these next 3 episodes as a possible tie-in to season 2 or season 3?
I gotta tell you, I am more than happy to convey my trust into the writer's room, because there has only been one episode that they steered me wrong.
The last one. I mean, you can't have a Star Trek show without a sad episode. I mean, come on.
Right.
It's not a sad.
It's wrong on every level.
I'm going to remind you and send you the link to last week's episode so that you remember why I hated it so much.
I remember. I was there.
That was
Michael,
very tough episode.
Yeah, Michael, I know we're going to see more of the Gorn.
I was thinking about that. I feel like okay. So I have to say this about that, and then I have one more question for everyone. So I feel like I want to see the Gorn in the season finale. That's what I want, leading into season 2. Because every Star Trek show has their ultimate enemy. You know, like DS9 was the Dominion, Lower Decks is the Packlets. You know, blah 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 blah. So, but the way they did the episode, which was brilliant, by the way, brilliant Gorn episode. They kept the Gorn anonymous. They kept them so it was mysterious. Yes, and I love that. So I don't know what they're gonna do. But if I had a choice,
hopefully not make them look like Enterprise.
God,
but let's just remember when Enterprise
2005. But okay, since we have 3 minutes left, starting with Marie. What would you give this episode out of 10 and why?
So I've already written my article for this episode, and I'm doing it out of 5 time crystals, and I give it a 4.5.
Okay.
And I gave it a 4.5 because my only problem was that I didn't necessarily think that the transition between Aspen and Angel happened quite as well as it could have. But that was it. Once they got going, and actually I think the actress uses she, her pronouns, or at least that's what Wikipedia tells me. I think once she got going, she was fantastic. Because there's that moment, and I mentioned this earlier, my favorite line in the episode was, "That's on you!" Like, because she's literally making fun of them for not running a basic Google search. Because everybody's like, well, what about the colonists? Oh, I lied. They didn't exist. And the fact that you didn't check into that, that's on you. And I'm like, yes. Yes.
You think Lon at least would have been all over that.
Right? And I'm sitting over here like, where's your paranoia, my girl?
Where is she in this?
Right.
Mostly just there to mention slavery.
She was in the background.
She was?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot she was even here.
She was in the conference
she's
room
literally the one.
were...
She's literally the one who like gives Pike an excuse to go like into the Tholian web there.
She was really like, yeah, so slavery exists. It's a thing.
Yeah.
She's still ongoing.
Forgive my French, but she's supposed to be the paranoid bitch. I expected her to fight somebody.
Yes. Right.
Like, what happened to all those rules you were putting Uhura through hell and high water through? Where were they?
Let's
talk about Mabenga for a second.
Rock. Yeah, the one time we did see him. Because
Mabenga has that great moment where he comes out and they leave him his medical stuff, which I was amazed by. Right here,
I was very surprised.
He goes, "Oh, look, your braid's not scrambled," and then like all of a sudden, Pike's like, "I convinced them to sell us to the Klingons," and then everybody's like, "Could you run that again?" And Rebecca's like, maybe I missed something. I was there for that.
There were a lot. This was a very cute episode.
It was.
Give this a very cute episode.
Pirates, yay!
It's a good way to come back. Like I said, it's a good way to come back. And like I said, I didn't realize.
This needs to be the title, actually. Like when we put this on YouTube or whatever. Like I think it needs to be Linda's Pirates, yay!
Like I said, I didn't realize how hot Antimat was until this particular episode. Like you get captured by pirates and then you cook for them, and then you have this mischievous smile and smirk. I was like, dang.
And you've already done this. You're going to cause a rebellion, and you've already done this on another ship.
Enough that you have shorthand for it.
And then you admit, hey, so we kind of did it, but it's still going on. Can you get us off this ship, please?
It's still in progress.
I loved his humor. But we're at our time of danger.
Wait, we didn't finish the round robin.
We're going to let him finish.
Yeah. So danger.
Okay. And what was the question again?
What would you rate it?
Oh yeah. I would say I'd give it an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why
I liked it.
Cool. Miss Danger?
I want to go with 9 out of 10.
Cool.
I really liked it. It was good. I am a little troubled that the fact that when you lock something down, just one officer can unlock it. That's a little weird. But other than that, otherwise I would have given it a 10 out of 10.
Okay, Michael.
I'm gonna go 3.75 out of 5.
Okay. I was trying to say out of what?
No, in all honesty, I'm really going back and forth between like a 3.5 and a 4. And I thought it was a really good episode. Let me be clear. But I think that I liked the transition between Angel and Aspen, but I felt like when she became Angel, the acting just kind of like it didn't fit.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
It didn't fit for me. There was a misfit there, and they couldn't when you could tell, I think from the cuts of this episode, they were trying to figure out how to make that fit, and it just didn't. They were like trying to make them sexy, but also like, yeah.
But I'm sitting here like, y'all gave them mesh. They're sexy. It's fine.
Yeah, and then but if you notice,
there was like, was anybody else giggling at the like over
the walk from the captain's chair?
Not just that, but no, like when they're going up into the Jeffries tube or whatever, and we have that truly epic butt wiggle.
Yes. I noticed that. I was like, what is that? And I figured like maybe they had like the actual actress had a Chewy or something and was like, I gotta move this around. Like, I don't know what's going on. But
I'm not even sure what a Chewy is, but I'm just gonna let that go.
A wedgie. A wedgie. But also
the growls.
Yeah, and so also I think the kind of setup that they did on the Serene
Squall.
Thank you, Serene Squall. There we go. Was like, it was good, but I think there could have been a little bit more development there. Even though the main action was all, I think there could have been I see some areas where that we could have made some more development there. If you would take 2 minutes, add a little more development. And so I think it really goes between a 3.5 and a 4 for me, but it was a good episode. But I did love what pulls it up to a 4 for me is that they allowed actors to really break the fourth wall and be like, hey, let's have a little bit of fun with this episode.
Yeah.
Hypo sprays forever.
They did have fun. I will say, okay, for me, I have to give it a 7 out of 10. It's not a bad episode. It's not a bad one, but everyone has hit it on the mark as far as what went on. All right, so the characterization was there. I love seeing Angel and Aspen. I loved it all. Okay, but
you have betrayed me, my friend.
I have a personal issue. It's not one that makes me mad. Okay, but it's one that just I feel like they missed the mark on and could have made it a 10 easily. Like, I understand that they had to lower their security standards just to get that line across. It's on you. I get all of that. Okay. But I personally, and this is going to sound selfish, I personally would have loved to see a showdown between Angel and
Chapel.
Chapel or Lana or Uhura picking up what she learned.
I'm just telling you, this is what fanfic is for. I understand. Parody porn. Just throwing that out there.
I understand, and it's just like
and I thought we weren't going to go there, and we still got there. How did we get here?
Here's what I want to see by the end of the season.
And this is where we roll the beautiful bean footage. That's what's going to happen now.
Wait, by the
I'm
end of the season,
I'm gonna let Danger speak.
By the end of the season, I want to see a scene where we have Spock and Chapel in a decontamination chamber rubbing gel on each other.
Not a decon room. Let's not.
Now, again, I'm going to say this again because we're near the end of our show. If you are our allies, we are not talking to you. We are not talking to you. This does not... Okay, we're not talking to you. Stop trying to take our and make it your goddamn business. It ain't got nothing to do with you. It ain't got nothing to do with you.
Our experience of grief independently.
Bruh.
Yes.
I love that they're in the comments.
So much is like, I'm just reading the comments.
Yeah. They should have brought their child out. Such a good point, Will. God, that's such a good point. And he's really thought about it too. You should be here. William, get over here.
I thought he had a girlfriend on Insta. It's been ages since I've mucked about, but
okay, moving on. Let's move on.